But some of you are now wondering, what is he doing stood in there with a brass pin in his hand and a knife in the other? Well, what I'm doing, I'm just I'm taking off the tape on one of my mosaic pins. I vacuumed the resin into the pin now, and that's the result. The result is that's the end which goes into the epoxy, and then this is the end where you apply the vacuum, and you can see how it's sucked the vacuum up. It's rather how it sucked the resin up. So I was getting bubbles in using the injection method when I was last doing them, so I thought, right, it's time to up the game and improve the mosaic pins. Basically, it's a very simple process, and you want a hand vacuum pump, very cheap, obtainable off of eBay. And then you get your resin, and you prepare your resin, and you put your paint in the resin to whatever colour you paint resin you want, and then you degas my resin, plonk it in the resin, make sure it's submerged, stick that end on your vacuum pump, and then you pull a vacuum like that, and then what happens, it draws the resin slowly up the tube. Helps if you warm the tube a little bit, and then you see it coming into this area here in the dark. You can see the darkness there. This was done yesterday, so this is now set. You release your vacuum, and you tape up the end, and leave it overnight. So this is actually the morning after the night before, and oh dear me, I've been hit hard this week. The sum total of this week, my output has been one knife. I finished one knife, and I didn't even start that this week. I've been hit with the flu, and I had all the aches and pains on sort of Monday and Tuesday, and then headaches and all that, you know, and then it's gone to my chest now, you know, so, and I ain't getting any younger, and these things seem to hit you harder the older you get. But anyway, I'm surviving, and I'm beginning to feel a bit better, so I hope I'm going to be back in the workshop later on today and manage to get some jobs done. We've got Scott from Wessex Blades coming to see me tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm just taking this one apart now. I'll bring you in for a closer look. You can see how well, the only way you get it off, well, you can pull it off, it will pull off actually. I'll pull it off. You can see how well the resin's penetrated. It's not gone, the resin hasn't set hard yet, it's still a bit rubbery. Give that another 12 hours and that'll start to set rock hard. So that should mean, hopefully, no air bubbles in the mosaic pins, which is a damn nuisance, because you work hard to get your knife to finish to a very high level, and then you've got a little bubble in the pin, and these little minor imperfections, they wouldn't have shown in my earlier knives, because my earlier knives were they have more imperfections, and so they're kind of hidden them, you know. But now the knives are becoming sort of a bit better. The slightest flaw, and it sort of stands out like a sore thumb, you know. So I'm hoping that these pins will be okay. So I'm going to cut them up, and I'm going to clean them up on the Lanisha, and see how well they do. But I'll leave the resin just a bit longer because it's a bit tactile still, and I'll see what they look like. Here's some pins I cut open earlier. It's not very bright in here. I polished up the ends or cleaned up the ends, and hopefully, I don't know if that's in focus for you or not. You can see the epoxy's gone right the way through that, so I'm happy with that. And these are the ones I showed you in the conservatory, but they're still I still want to leave them a bit longer before I cut them, so the epoxy is still a little bit rubbery, so I'm going to wait a while for that. Some knives I'm working on at the moment. I've got a couple of scouts on the go and a couple of trackers. They're all one of these would be for Kevin. You can see I've hollowed out the tang, roughened up where the scales are going to fit. They've all been hand rubbed, and it's just a matter of fitting the scales on and building the leather work for these, and they'll be finished, so probably sometime next week now. Sorry about that, Kevin, I was hit with the flu and I would have done it sooner for you. I was hoping to finish the knife this week actually. So I spent 2 days in bed this week. Yeah, I've got something else to show you. This is going to come. Oh, my eyes watering now. Oh no. This is going to come at a better timing. It was from Scott Fisher. I built him his knife, and he received his knife last week, I think. He was so happy with it. He sent me a bottle of 15-year-old Glenfiddich, and I must say it is absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful whiskey, and I'm not an avid whiskey drinker or a spirit drinker at all, but this has really helped. So I'm very grateful for that, Scott. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I don't think it's going to last too long. I have already started to medicate myself with it. You know, so a wee dram every night for the last 2 or 3 nights now, purely for medicinal purposes. Anyway, with that, I'm feeling a little bit better today, so hopefully I'm going to get into the workshop and do a bit of work today, and see how the day goes really. So I am on the mend, so don't need to be concerned for me, and hopefully normal service will be resumed next week. So with that, I'll say goodbye for now, and hopefully see you soon.